very warm welcome to thorough newspaper analysis, which is presented to you by Lawsico. So today we'll discuss important articles from the newspaper of 29th April 2021. So we have two important articles of the day. The first is antimicrobial resistance, the silent threat. In this article, we'll talk about the future crisis, which is regarding the antimicrobial resistance and how COVID-19 is an indicator to it. The second article is titled as Government Leverage in Vaccine Pricing. In this article, we'll talk about the problem of differential pricing with regards to COVID-19 vaccine and a way forward to it. So this newspaper analysis is presented to you by me. My name is Ankita Parida. I have completed my BTech from IIIT and MTech from ITI Bhubaneswar. I have completed my LLB in 2020 from Fakir Mohun University, Odisha. I am a current affair expert at Lawsico. You can reach out to me at my Twitter or LinkedIn handle, which is mentioned here. The MCQ question for the day is, what does TRIPS stand for? Option A, Agreement on Trade Related Aspect of Intellectual Property Right. Option B, Agreement on Tender Related Aspects of Intellectual Property Right. Option C, the Agreement on Trade Related Aspects of Intellectual Property Rights. And option D, the Agreement on Trade Relation Aspects of Intellectual Property Rights. You can write your answers in the comment section below. So then the next descriptive question for the day is, antimicrobial resistance AMR is considered one of the most significant challenges the world faces today. Discuss. You can write your answers in 250 to 300 words below. So the first article of the day is regarding the challenges due to antimicrobial resistance. In this article, we'll talk about what is antimicrobial resistance, why it is in news, what are the reasons behind antimicrobial resistance, and what are the challenges faced because of antimicrobial resistance, and what can be the way forward to move ahead from this. So, antimicrobial resistance is a phenomenon by which bacteria and fungi evolve and become resistant to presently available medical treatment. So when we have a figure that more than 7 lakh people die every year because of antimicrobial resistance. So when a person is exposed to more of antibiotic or antimicrobial medicines, then antimicrobial resistance tendency is developed in that person, and the present medical treatment does not comes to its rescue. So why it is in news? COVID-19 may be a harbinger for future crises which may be caused because of antimicrobial resistance. As we know, there has been no particular cure or invention regarding antimicrobial resistance in the world yet. And there are substantial number of deaths because of antimicrobial resistance, that is more than 7 lakh deaths per year. And as we have seen, there is a huge crisis and huge number of deaths because of COVID-19 and lack of vaccination presently in India and abroad. So this problem of antimicrobial resistance, which is growing within the population, can be a reason for future crisis if we don't find a suitable medicine or way out to this problem. So what can be the reasons for antimicrobial resistance? So there are multiple reasons. Some of them are misuse of antimicrobials in medicine. It is often seen that for small medical situations like fever, cold kind of thing, people are given antimicrobial and antibiotics. And because of overuse of these kind of medicine, generally the host is exposed to antimicrobial resistance, because of which these medicine or medical treatment cannot cure them. Secondly, because of high use of pesticides, insecticides, and medicine in agriculture, these bacteria which have mutated into different forms and becoming antimicrobial resistance come to our plate. Also, it is seen in livestock that when antibiotics and injections and vaccinations are given to the livestock like cows, cattle, etc., and when these cattle gives us milk or livestock product which come to our plate, we also intake these bacteria in our food, and we also give these bacteria and fungi to our nearby people and community through physical contact. It is also caused because of contamination around pharma manufacturing sites, which brings the atmosphere for the evolution of antimicrobial resistance bacteria and fungi. So, what are the challenges regarding it? It has been seen that without functional antimicrobial, even common surgical procedures can be less effective. So, when a common surgical process is done, the surgery might be exposed to bacteria and fungi. So, therefore, antimicrobials or antibiotics are given to the person. So without this being effective on them, the AMR can be a real problem if AMR is caused to the patient. It is also a major problem in low and middle income countries, because the low and middle income countries are more exposed to these kind of medicines because of lack of inventions. Also, it is seen that no new class of antibiotics have been entered the market in last 3 decades due to inadequate incentives. So the author suggests that there needs to be a strategy to move forward from this and to tackle this problem. So there needs to be a development of new antimicrobial and infection control measures by the government, and needs to be a sustained investment by the government, also by the global coordination. So the author suggests that there needs to be a sustained investment by the governments and also by the global coordination institution, and they should invest in detecting and combating this new resistant strain regularly. There also needs to be efforts to be made to control prescription, and it should be accompanied by efforts to educate the consumers to reduce inappropriate use. Also, the solution lies in integrated and improved surveillance of antimicrobial resistance in agriculture, animal health, and environment, and if the policy are aligned towards it. So the author suggests that the way forward can be with the development of new antimicrobial and infection control measures by the government. Secondly, there needs to be effort made to control the prescription, and the patients and the consumer need to be educated regarding reduction of use of antimicrobial. And also the solution lies in improved surveillance and integrated approach towards AMR in agriculture, animal health, and environment. The author suggests that a mix of incentives and sanction would encourage appropriate clinical use of antimicrobial resistance. The second article of the day talks about the government and pricing of the drugs. In this article, we'll discuss why the pricing of the drugs and vaccines are in news, and how does the government regulate the pricing of the drugs. Secondly, can the government regulate the price of COVID-19 vaccine through the drugs price control order? And also we'll discuss what are the legal avenues available for government to address the differential prices for vaccines. So recently, the Supreme Court has expressed its displeasure regarding the differential pricing for vaccines, and it has directed the central government to clarify in its affidavit the basis and rationale for such a pricing. So, as we know, the COVID-19 vaccines have been procured by the state and central government at a differential pricing. So, based on it, the Supreme Court has asked this explanation and has expressed its displeasure. So we have many regulation regarding the drug pricing. The first one is the Essential Commodities Act 1955. This act regulates centrally the drug pricing, and it also ensures the accessibility to it. Under Section 3, government has enacted the Drugs Price Control Order, which lists over 800 drugs as essential and it has capped their prices. Secondly, the pricing is capped based on formula by National Pharmaceutical Pricing Authority set up in the 1997. Regulation of COVID-19 vaccine can be done on Regulation of COVID 19 vaccine is difficult based on two grounds, that is, the DPCO or the Drug Price Control Order is not applicable to patented drug or fixed dose combination drugs. As we know, the remdesivir is a vaccine which is patented and therefore it cannot be regulated under this regulation. However, to address this problem, we have the Patent Act 1970, under which section 100 says that central government can authorize any pharma company to use the invention for the purpose of the government, and based on it, it can be shown that this can be used for a government purpose and it can be kept. Secondly, under section 92, compulsory licensing is enumerated, based on which government can, without permission of the patent holder, license the patent as per the act, and based on it the government can apply for this and get the compulsory licensing and the pharma company can give it. Also, the second legislation is the Epidemic Disease Act 1897, based on section 2 of Epidemic Disease Act 1897. It gives power to the government to take special measures to prescribe regulation as to dangerous epidemic disease, and as we know, we are going through a pandemic and this regulation can be enacted based on this. So this can be a way forward to it, and also violation of the act can be penalized under section 188 of the IPC, which deals with disobedience to order duly promulgated by a public servant, and based on it punishment of imprisonment is up to 6 months and a fine of 1000 rupees is there. So these measures can be taken so as to address the differential pricing, and the government can leverage on it. So the author suggests that apart from these legislative options, experts suggest that the central government procuring directly from the manufacturers could be the most beneficial route to ensure equitable pricing. As a sole manufacturer, it will have greater bargaining power. So this was all for today. Thank you.